The following is a live presentation from Imagisport, where sports memories are created with a roll of the dice. Hello there, everyone, and welcome once again to Buffalo Bees Baseball right here on Imagisport. I'm Derek Jones. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday evening to join us as we're going to give you game one of a twilight doubleheader between the Buffalo Bees and the New England Minutemen. The second game of this doubleheader is going to be seen on Steve Towers' After Further Review channel at 9 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. And to say that this series between the Bees and the Minutemen is very important this time of year is a gross understatement. Let's take you to the BACL standings at this particular time. And as you can see, both the Bees and the Minutemen are battling to try to get one of the six playoff spots that are in the league. Right now, Buffalo holds that sixth position with a 17-18 record, 12 and a half games behind the league-leading San Antonio Six Guns. But as you can see, they're only a half a game ahead of Milwaukee, and they're only a full game ahead of the New England Minutemen, who have 2 games in hand against the Bees. So again, this series very important. The Bees did take game one of this series by the score of 5-4 yesterday, as Will Shreve was the delivered the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 11th inning as he had a walk-off home run there. But this series is not just notable just because of where these two teams are in the standings, but also because 2 of the favorites of Buffalo fans the past couple of seasons in the BACL are making a return to Buffalo in this series. Those being J.R. Keel and Joe Barkdoll, the 2 leading hitters from Buffalo in last season's campaign. Barkdoll was also Buffalo's home run leader last year with 13. This year, though, it is a different story for those 2 athletes. Barkdoll finds himself in more of a reserve role with the Minutemen, while J.R. Keel, he had a very hot start to the season, but he has kind of cooled off here a little bit as of late. More on that later on tonight. In the last game yesterday, by the way, Keel went 0 for 5. Joe Barkdoll, however, he did come off the bench in the 8th inning and delivered an RBI single to the delight of the Buffalo faithful to give the Minutemen a temporary lead at that time. All right, on to tonight's pregame roll, sponsored by Cola. For the Buffalo Bees, despite yesterday's win, they are semi-dissonant tonight. Must be because of them still being rattled by the Chicago Brawlers in the Windy City over this past weekend. However, on the Stormy chart, roll to 5, there are no issues for them to speak of tonight, as Mike Canistrari, our league statistician, joins us in the live chat. Hello, Mike, and also hello to Lake Effect Games, also watching live. Meanwhile, pregame rolls for the Minutemen. Roll to 1 on the game day chart for them, and since they lost yesterday, that means they are fully dissonant for this game. However, nothing on the Stormy chart, though, because a roll to 6. It was reported that tonight's starting pitcher, Jackie Fly, and his battery mate, Austin McWhorter, they went out to one of their favorite Buffalo hangouts to grab a pregame lunch earlier today. And sure enough, a couple hours later, they both developed food poisoning. So neither one of them are going to be in the lineup tonight. McWhorter's guzzling down Pepto-Bismol as we speak. He's going to try to get himself ready for the nightcap over in Medfield. But for today's game here in Buffalo, he is not going to play. Benny Chronister is going to take his place behind the plate. And so that's going to lead us into our starting pitching matchups, sponsored by National Airways. So Brian Mella is going to take the mound for the Minutemen today. He has an 0-1 record with a 4.94 earned run average, 32 strikeouts in 23 2/3 innings pitched. Meanwhile, for the Bees, it's going to be Kelly Whitehouse. 5-3 record. He leads the team in wins and strikeouts with 56, 3.81 ERA, and 49 2/3 innings pitched. All right, so it's a great night for baseball, ladies and gentlemen, so hey, why not? Let's play 2. And here's game 1 of our twilight doubleheader between the Minutemen and the Bees here at National Airways Stadium. Let's go ahead and go to our game table, and we'll get ready to go for tonight's matchup. And so leading off for the Minutemen tonight is going to be center fielder Sean Carty. Carty is batting .241 on the season with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. And we're going to start off with a 2-3-4, no runners on base. Carty is not the hot batter tonight, so it's just going to be a pop out to third for out number 1. And so that is going to bring up Corbin Young. He is the left fielder, or no, the first baseman here for the Minutemen. Young is .285 on the season with 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in. And 166 there. Whitehouse is not a workman. Young is not a whiffer. So it's just going to be a grounder over to third base. Wedge takes it, throws it over to first for the second out of the inning. And so that's going to take us to the experience chart for J.R. Keel. Keel is the designated hitter for the Minutemen. Like I said, he had a real hot start to the season, but right now he's only batting .215, .257 on base percentage, 4 homers, and 14 runs batted in. Keel is a semi-prospect, while Whitehouse is neutral. And it's a 15 there. Prospect batter, the dot says yes, so he lines out. So he is a switch hitter, so he'll be batting right. We're just going to say he lines out the short for out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 go the Minutemen in the top of the first inning. Go to the bottom of the first with no score. Dave Wedge leading off for the Bees tonight. .227 average on the year for Wedge. A homer and 12 runs batted in. 115. A fresh Mella is, so he strikes out, and there's 1 gone. Next up for the Bees is going to be the right fielder, Lamont Clark. Clark is batting .263 on the season with 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. And triple ones for Clark. Mella is not an ace. Clark is not a scrapper. It is deep. It is back. It is not playable, ladies and gentlemen. Lamont Clark with a solo home run to lead off the scoring here in the first inning, and the Bees have a 1-0 lead. And that's going to bring up Rookie of the Year candidate Greg Rutherford. He's cooled off a little bit himself, but he is still batting .302 as we speak, with 9 home runs, 12 doubles, and 24 runs batted in. .356 is his role. Are they the same? They are not. Utility or sad sack, no single down the first base line, and Rutherford is aboard with 1 down in the bottom of the first. Here comes Dylan Hutto for the Bees. Hutto's batting .221, tied with Rutherford with the team lead in home runs with 9 and 22 runs driven in on the season. .245 is the roll there. So is Hutto a hero? Dot says no on that, so it's just going to be a pop out to second for out number 2. As Steve Tower joins us. Welcome, Steve, to the broadcast tonight. So basically what you missed, Lamont Clark just hit a solo shot with a 1-1 roll. So that's makes the score 1-0 right now. Darren Room is coming up, the starting catcher for the Bees. Room is batting .210 with a couple of homers, 6 doubles, 7 runs batted in. And .244 there. Mella's not an ace, and Room is not a champ, so he is a whiffer, though, so he's going to strike out, and that's going to do it for the Bees in the bottom of the first. So after 1 inning of play here at National Airways Stadium, the Bees lead the Minutemen by the score of 1-0. Leading off the second inning for the Minutemen is going to be Omar Tovar. second baseman for New England. Tovar on the season is 241 for an average, 3 homers, and 12 runs batted in. And 1-2-2 for Tovar. Whitehouse is not a workman, champ, or whiffer, neither one of those. So it's just a line out the wedge, and there's one gone. All right, here comes the hot batter for New England tonight. None other than Jimmy Pastor, the right fielder. Pastor batting 246 on the season with 10 runs batted in. Yes, Steve, there was a pregame roll that knocked out Jackie Fly. Fly and McWhorter are both injured tonight. They suffered food poisoning at their local hangout for lunch. McWhorter's going to try to get back for Game 2, though. So that's why Mel is in the lineup. All right, so Pastor rolls a 4-5-6. He is not patient, so it's a fly out to center field for out number 2 and a trip to the chemistry chart. Okay, so we're going to chemistry for Heath Howes, the third baseman for New England. Howes on the season, 287 average with a homer and 12 runs batted in. And so, once again, the Minutemen are fully dissonant in this game, and the Bees are semi-dissonant. And it's a 14. Batting team dissonance, yep, dribbler to the pitcher. So it's a simple 1-3 put out, and that's going to do it for New England in the top of the second. 1-0 to score, heading to the bottom of inning number 2. And leading off the inning is going to be shortstop Raphael Rockmore. Rockmore batting 211 on the season, although his on base percentage is 252. 7 runs batted in, 3 doubles. 2-3-6 is his role. Double control or dynamic, no. Are they the same? They are not. That's our house rule in this league. So Rockmore's going to draw a walk to lead off the second inning. So with Rockmore on first, it brings up Justin Antonelli. Another person who's really struggling at the plate after a semi-hot start. He's only batting 203 with a homer and 9 runs batted in. Mella delivers 1-6-6. Workman to Gilded, no. Antonelli is a whiffer. He's going to strike out. So there's one gone in the inning. And that's going to bring up Dexter Ford, the former New England Minuteman. Ford playing center field tonight, batting a .186 with 7 runs batted in. And a 1-4-6 there. So Mella is double flash, actually. So he's going to get out of this inning by striking out Dexter Ford and also by striking out Will Shreve. So that's going to do it for inning number 2. So after 2 complete, here in Buffalo, the Bees lead the Minutemen by the score of 1-0. To answer your question, Lake Effect Games, the co-op league is 12 of us. Each of us have one of the Baseball America teams, and then what we do is from the free agent pool, we drafted 2 players each from the playoff pool. Mike's explaining some of it as well, but basically we play our home games, and then we submit stats to Mike, and he tallies them all together. The top 6 teams will make the playoffs. As far as I know, not quite sure until the end of the season whether or not anybody's going to leave the league. But if there will be, I'm sure our Commissioner Grant Fines will put a post out on Facebook in looking for new ownership should it arise that some of the members will leave. I plan on playing next year anyway. All right, the Buffalo faithful are coming to their feet again because leading off for the Minutemen is the former Buffalo Bee, Joe Barkdoll. In limited action this year, Barkdoll is actually batting .375 with a double, a triple, and 4 RBIs in 16 at-bats. And He did get an RBI single in our game yesterday. 1-1-4. Whitehouse is still fresh, though, so it's just a ground out to short for out number 1. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, Don DeJesus. DeJesus on the year, .195 average with 3 runs batted in. 2-3-5 is the roll there. Whitehouse is not wild. DeJesus is not eager. And he is not patient either. So it's just going to be a grounder to second base for out number 2. And now to the bottom of the order for catcher Benny Chronister. Again, in for Austin McWhorter, who still has a puke bucket beside him in the clubhouse as we speak. Trying to get better for tonight's second game of the doubleheader. Chronister, no hits in 7 at-bats in very limited action. And we have a 1-3-5, our first trip to the unusual result chart, and that is going to be a red 1 and a black 3. And we go to 11, so we're going to go to highlight reel A. Can't remember the last time I got onto one of the letter highlight reel charts. Whoops, not sure why I did that. Let me re-roll that because I accidentally rolled all 3 dice at the same time. Okay, let's go 15. Alert lead base runner takes advantage. Well, there is no lead base runner, so I guess nothing really happened there. We're going to go ahead and just re-roll for Chronister. The weird things that happen on live television. All right, Chronister's next pitch is a 3-3-4. Ace or star. Whitehouse is a star, so he pops out the first, and that's going to do it. All right, so after 2.5 innings here in Buffalo, Bees still cling to that 1-0 lead as Whitehouse now becomes semi-fresh. That's right, Mike. Bad buffalo wings will get you every time. All right, Dave Wedge is coming back up. He struck out back in the first inning. 2-2-6 here. Hit by pitch. Doc says no. Cleanup batter. Wedge is not. So, and guess we should roll the decide or die again to see whether or not he strikes out, and he does. So 1 down, and Lamont Clark coming up to the plate. So solo homer back in the first to score the only run of this game. 2-4-5. Clark is not a hero, so it's just a pop out to second base for out number 2. And a trip to the experience chart for Greg Rutherford, who is a full prospect. However, Mella is a semi-prospect. So we'll see what happens here. Rutherford singled back in the first inning. 35. Icon batter, no siree Bob. It's going to be outfield drama instead. So we're going to go 16 on outfield drama. Is the right fielder stoic? That is Pastor. He is not stoic, so he's going to make the diving play for the line out. And that's going to do it for the third inning. So after 3 complete here in Buffalo, the Bees lead the Minutemen by the score of 1-0. And just a reminder, coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the second game of this doubleheader between the Bees and the Minutemen over on Steve Towers' After Further Review channel. Once again, Bees and Minutemen, Game 2 of this doubleheader, 9 o'clock over on AFR. Sean Carty comes up to lead off for the Minutemen here in the 4th inning. He popped out in his first time at bat. 2-3-4. No runners on base. Carty, once again, not the hot batter tonight, so he is just going to pop out the third. Wedge is under it for out number 1. Here's Corbin Young, grounded out back in the first. 1-4-4. Whitehouse is flash, but there is a glasses check for our umpire. So we're going to go ahead and check on that. A questionable or lenient will call ball 4. Dot says yes for the semi-questionable Joe Ramey. So Young is going to be on first base with a walk. And Ramey's hearing it from the Buffalo faithful. While we have a moment, your umpires tonight, as designated by the Baseball America Co-op League, Ramey's behind the plate, as you see. Wayne Kacharak at first, Vince Terezis at second, and Dave Houtz at third. All right, J.R. Keel coming up. He lined out back in the first inning. Young on first, 1 out. 1-4-6 is the roll here. Flash this time. This time, though, we're looking for a good eye. We have none, so there is a legitimate strikeout for out number 2. And here comes Tovar. Tovar lined out back in the second inning. 1-4-6 there as well. Again, we have flash. Again, we have no good eye. And again, we have a strikeout. So the Minutemen leave 1 in the top of the 4th, but do not score. And we go to the bottom of inning number 4 with the Bees up on the Minutemen by the score of 1-0. Dylan Hutto leading off things here for the Bees. He popped out in his first time at bat. All right, 2-4-5. Hutto, Dot says no on Hero, so it's just a pop out to second. Tovar's underneath it, and he's going to make the catch for out number 1, and we're going to go to Experience for our next batter. And that next batter is going to be catcher Darren Room. Struck out his first time up, but he is a semi-icon, so that's going to help him in this case. Semi-prospect for Mella. And we have a 23. Prospect pitcher, the Dot says yes on that, so momentary lapse in focus. We've got a single delta. Room has a delta rating, so that's going to be a double. So Room is on second with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. And here comes Rafael Rockmore. Walked in the second inning. And the pitch there is a 1-4-6. Mella is double flash, however, and no good eye to counteract that. So once again, 2 strikeouts, and that's going to get Mella out of this inning. So he's going to strike out Rockmore, and then he is also going to strike out Antonelli to end things. So 4 complete here in Buffalo, and the score after 4 innings is still 1-0. Buffalo over New England. Jimmy Pastor is going to be up here for the Minutemen here in the top of inning number 5. Pastor flied out back in the second inning. 3-4-4 here. Prospect, Whitehouse is not. Patience, Pastor is not. So it's just going to be a pop out to second base. And Rutherford's under it for out number 1. And that's going to bring up Heath Howes, who lined out in his first at bat. Here's the pitch there again. 3-4-4. No prospect, no patient. And once again, Rutherford catches the pop-up. 2 down. And so here comes Barkdoll. Barkdoll grounded out his first time out. Fun fact about Joe Barkdoll. He batted .324 in the 2022 playoffs for Buffalo, leading them to their championship in the inaugural season of this league. 2-3-5 is the roll here. Wild, Kit Whitehouse is not. Eager, Barkdoll is. The Dot says no on Whiffer, so he is going to get a CNI single past Rockmore, and he's going to get on first again. So Barkdoll having a pretty good homecoming. Singled in the last game and singled now in this one. Breaking up the perfect game as well. Here's Don DeJesus, grounded out back in the second. 2, 3, 4 there. Runners on base. Now we're going to have some plate drama, which is always fun with our semi-iron catcher, Darren Room. 35. Is the catcher goal? Yeah, hardly. It is going to be a passed ball and a trip to the chemistry chart. So let's go ahead and move Barkdoll to second base. And we'll go to the chemistry chart for the next pitch. But once again, remember that the Minutemen are fully dissonant and the Bees are semi-dissonant. 26. Batting team harmony, no, so it's a ground out to second base. So that's going to move Barkdoll over to third. Or doesn't really matter because that's the third out anyway. So that's going to do it. We go to the bottom of inning number 5. And the Bees still holding on to that 1-0 lead. Here comes Dexter Ford up to the plate, struck out. Back in the second. 1-6-6. Mella is not a workman or gilded. Ford is a whiffer, though. He's going to strike out. So let's count them up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is strikeout number 9 for Brian Mella. Mella, I believe, was a former B as well. Will Shreve's coming up. He struck out as well in his first at bat. 3-5-5. Struggler or gilded. The dot says no for Struggler. Not a champion. Going to roll the decider again. Does not get the decider, so it's just going to be a ground out to second base. And 2 gone for Dave Wedge. 0 for 2. Struck out both times. 2, 4, 5. Wedge is not a hero, so he pops it up and pops it out to Tovar at second. And that is going to do it for the Bees in the 5th. So we start off inning number 6 on the experience chart. Bees still clinging to that 1-0 lead. And Benny Chronister up at the plate. Both players are neutral here. 33. Prospect batter, no. So it's going to be a fence result for Benny Chronister. So we're going to need to roll a decider die to see whether or not he's a scrapper. And the dot says yes for scrapper. So it's not going to be a home run at least, but it is going to be a single for Benny Chronister. He's aboard to lead off inning number 6. Back up to the top of the order, and Sean Carty. Carty is 0 for 2, popped up back in the 4th. 1-6-6. Workman or gilded, no. Carty, dot says yes on a whiffer. He strikes out. So 1 gone. And over to Corbin Young. Young's 0 for 1. Walked in his last at-bat. 2-2-6. And Young is plunked. So that's going to put men on first and second with 1 out. Here in a tight game, and J.R. Keel coming to the plate. Keel's 0 for 2. Struck out in the 4th. And it looks like the Bees might need to start thinking about getting some activity up here in the bullpen. So we're going to go ahead and put a couple arms up there. Just in case we need them. All right, first and second, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Keel. 1-2-5. Struggler, no, not in this instance. Patient. Keel is not patient. And the dot says no on whiffer, so it's going to be a grounder to third, and a good thing too, because that's a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. All right, so crisis averted there for Buffalo. As the Minutemen leave 2 but do not score, we go to the bottom of inning number 6. Bees up by the score of 1-0. Lamont Clark comes up to the plate, 1 for 2. He popped out back in the 3rd inning. And 1-2-4. Dot says yes for control on Mella, so it's going to be a ground out to the shortstop. And 1 away. Nice play there by De Jesus. All right, here comes Rutherford. 1 for 2, lined out in the 3rd. 1-3-6. Mella's not an ace. Dot says yes for a whiffer for Rutherford, though. He's going to strike out, and there's 2 gone. And here comes Hutto, 0 for 2, popped out both times. 1-2-3 there. Flash and fresh. Dot says yes, so Mella's going to strike him out. And that is going to do it for the 6th inning. So after 6 complete here in Buffalo, the Bees lead it 1-0. Yeah, let me double check there, but I believe that is actually, it is 11 Ks for Brian Mella, not 10. Be that as it may, since he did give up the run, he has lost freshness. So, yep, 11. So Steve, if you want to warm up a reliever or something, just let me know. Whitehouse remains semi-fresh, taking a shutout bid into the 7th inning. Here comes Omar Tovar to lead things off. Tovar's 0 for 2, struck out back in the 4th. And a 1-6-6 there. Not workman or gilded, not a whiffer. It's going to be a ground out the 3rd. Wedge is going to throw it over for out number 1. And so that's going to take us over to the experience chart for Jimmy Pastor. Pastor's 0 for 2, popped up in the 5th. And Pastor is a semi-prospect, while Whitehouse is neutral. 34. Prospect batter, the dot says no. So it's a ground out, rubber up the first base line, runners advance. So we're going to call it a 3-1 ground out. Okay, it looks like Lowen and Wada are going to be warming up. And in case you didn't look at the box score from the last game, Steve, both of these guys pitched an inning yesterday, so each of them are going to be just good for 1 inning tonight. All right, so with Pastor retired, here comes third baseman Heath House. He's 0 for 2 as well. Popped out back in inning number 5. 1-2-2. Whitehouse is not a workman. Champ or whiff or no. That's just going to be a line out the 3rd, and that is going to do it. Okay, so back to the bottom of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time here at National Airways Stadium. And the score is 1-0. Once again, tonight's game sponsored by PLAAY Games, the maker of History Maker Baseball, the official game engine of the Baseball America Co-op League. Again, all the card sets, the game itself, that's going to be available for you right now. Just go to the PLAAY website at play.com, 2 A's in the word play. And also, don't forget, at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, will be game 2 of this series, this doubleheader between the Bees and the Minutemen as they take the teleport to Medfield, Massachusetts, and they'll play game 2 at Medfield on Steve Towers' AFR channel. So according to Steve, Mella's going to start the 7th inning without any freshness at all, with Wada and Lowen warming up in the bullpen, so they'll get the ace boost whenever they come in. All right, Room's going to lead off the bottom of the 7th for the Bees, 1 for 2 with a double. 2-6-6 is the roll there, no runner on first. He's a leadoff batter this inning, so Room's going to get on with a single. And that's going to bring Raphael Rockmore to the plate. 0 for 1 with a walk. Struck out back in the 4th. 1-1-2 there. And what a great time for Mella to get a flash result, because 2 more strikeouts are coming his way. So he's going to strike out Raphael Rockmore, and he's going to strike out Justin Antonelli, and just like that, there are 2 gone. Gotta love that double flash quality. So with 2 down and Room on first, it's up to Dexter Ford to see if he can keep the Buffalo inning going. So far he's been a strikeout victim twice here tonight. 1-4-4. And once again it's a flash, but this time we got the glasses. Let's see if what Ramey's going to call here. And he does get the dot for questionable, so that is actually going to be ball 4. So, not sure if that was an even up call from earlier in the game or what. But now we got first and second with 2 gone. Will Shreve coming up to the plate. Shreve is 0 for 2. He grounded out in the 5th. All right, 1, 2, 3. Flash. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so Lowen is going to come in to face Shreve. Okay, so we'll disregard this roll here. Mella's going to come out. So that's going to close the book on Mella. And we're going to bring in Billy Lowen. All right, so Lowen on the season, 5.59 ERA, 1-0 record, 22 strikeouts in 19 1/3 innings. And just out of curiosity, the line on Mella, 6 2/3, 4 hits allowed, 1 run, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts. All right, so here comes the official pitch to Will Shreve. 2-4-6 there. Control, Lowen has it, so he just ground out to the pitcher, and that is going to end the threat. Okay, so that's going to take us to the top of inning number 8 with the Bees up 1-0. Whitehouse is still semi-fresh. We're going to leave him in there just to kind of try to get some rust out of our bullpen here. Joe Barkdoll's coming up to lead things off. He is 1 for 2 with a single. And a 3-5-6. Are they the same? They are not. Utility or sad sack? No. Barkdoll's going to get his second hit of the game. Okay, so Lowen's coming out, according to Steve, and Marcel is warming up in the bullpen. And we might get some arms up as well here. Let's see who we got. Little decision-making time here. Gotta love that. Chang and Kreider will, what's the top of the 8th? Yep, can't use hot sauce tonight. He's exhausted. He has to take the night off. So it's got to be Chang and Kreider here. All right, here comes the Jesus. 0 for 2, grounded out in the 5th. Whitehouse is still on for now. 2, 3, 5. Whitehouse not wild, not eager, and not patient. So it's going to be a ground out to second. So it's just going to be a fielder's choice there. So it's just going to be a 4-6 fielder's choice. So still a man at first, but one gone this time. Here comes Chronister, 1 for 2, singled back in the 6th. Barkdoll on first, 1 out, 1-0 Buffalo. 1, 2, 4. Control. Whitehouse does not have control, but Chronister is eager, so he's going to pop it up the first. Hutto makes the catch, and they're 2 away. And back to the top of the order again with Sean Carty. 0 for 3 in this one. Struck out back in the 6th. Barkdoll still on first with the tying run. 2 gone in the inning. 1, 2, 6 again. Fresh. Dot says yes, so it's a line out right to Rutherford. And that is going to end the New England threat. So now we go to the bottom of inning number 8. After 7.5, Buffalo still leads it by the score of 1-0. And Mert Martzel is going to come in to pitch for the Minutemen. Let me just take 1 second here to make sure that he is in my scorebook. All right, so Mert Metzel leads the Minutemen in ERA at 0.63. He has a 1-1 record, 2 walks and 13 strikeouts in 14 1/3 innings pitched. And due up is the top of the order for the Bees, Wedge, Clark, and Rutherford. So we'll keep Wedge batting here, although he's 0 for 3. He popped up in the 5th inning. And we have our unusual result, and it's going to be an umpire result this time. So we're going to go to the umpire chart for bases empty. And it's going to be a 12. Is there a strict umpire at second? There is. So rules the batter out at second base, stretching a single into a double. So Wedge got a hold of one, but got a little greedy. And so he is out at second base. So let me go ahead and, batter out at second, trying to stretch a single into a double. And, we'll do an 8-4. That's perfectly fine. All right, so 1 away. And that's going to bring up Lamont Clark. Clark is 1 for 3. Scored the only run in the game so far with the solo home run back in the 1st inning. 1-1-2. Martzel has flash. No good eye for Clark, so that is a strikeout. And 2 away. And that'll bring up Rutherford. So Rutherford is 1 for 3 as well. He struck out back in the 6th. 115. Marcel is fresh, so it's a pop fly. And we're just going to say he pops out the second. And that's going to do it for the 8th inning. So Marcel's maxed because he pitched an inning in the last game. But New England has some work to do in order to get to that point, because they are trailing by the score of 1-0. So first off, we're going to roll a decider to see if Whitehouse is still semi-fresh here in the 9th with the shutout bid going here. And the dot says he is. So Whitehouse is still at semi-fresh. We'll put Keone Jackson in the bullpen for the Bees. Steve's already making his move. He's putting his closer in, Colton Grandstaff, in the bullpen for the Minutemen, in case we need to go to the bottom of the 9th. 2, 3, 4 hitters here for the New England Minutemen here in the top of inning number 9. Drama, once again, here on Imagisport. All right, Young is 0 for 1. He walked in the 4th and got hit by the pitch in the 6th inning. 1, 2, 4 there. Control, no. Eager, Young is eager though. He pops it up. Hutto goes underneath it and catches it for out number 1. That's going to bring up J.R. Keel. And man, he's having a tough time of it. 0 for 5 last game. 0 for 3 this game. Grounded into a double play back in the 6th inning. He has not had a real good homecoming coming back to Buffalo. 1, 2, 3. Flash and fresh. Oh, but the dot says no on Flash. No matter, it's a ground out. Rockmore gets it, throws it over. And the Minutemen are down to their final out. So it's all up to Omar Tovar. 0 for 3 on the night. Grounded out back in the 7th. The Buffalo fans on their feet. Here we go. 2, 3, 5. Whitehouse is not wild. Tovar is eager, though he singles it, and the inning stays alive. So Tovar keeps things going. Jimmy Pastor's up, and Pastor's a hot batter at this point. Well, I hate to do this, because it's going to take him out of my next home game, but we're not going to be messing around here. Whitehouse is going to get a standing ovation going back to the dugout, and we're going to bring in Keone Jackson to see if he can close this one out. He didn't do such a great job yesterday, though. He actually blew a save, gave up a home run to Sean Carty. But despite that, Jackson on the year, 1-1 record, 7 saves, 2.03 ERA, actually has the lowest ERA on the team. 2 walks, 15 strikeouts in 13 1/3 inning pitched, and because he was in the bullpen, he'll be a full ace for Pastor. Pastor's 0 for 3 in this game, grounded out in the 7th. Tovar on first, 2 down, top 9, 1-0 Buffalo. Here's the pitch. Triple force, can you believe it? And Pastor is not a scrapper. It is going to be a double to right field. He's not a home run king. And that's going to tie this game. Can you believe that? Wow. So the few New England faithful who made the trip down, or made the trip over to Buffalo, are on their feet now, as we got ourselves a brand new ball game. Here comes Heath House. He's 0 for 3. One, 2, 4 is the pitch there. Control, Jackson does not have control. The dot says yes, though, for eager, so it's just going to be a pop out to first base. And we're going to have to go to the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, you might say that there, Mike. You might say that. Well, I can't use Jackson anymore because he got maxed out. So I'm going to have to pick a new pitcher if we have to go extra. But coming in for New England, and he's limited to an inning of work as well, but he's going to try to keep this game tied, is Colton Grandstaff. Grandstaff has 10 saves on the year, 1.42 ERA, 6 walks, 12 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings pitched. And he's going to be facing, Rutherford retired last inning, so he's going to be facing Hutto, Room, and Rockmore. All right, so here's Hutto. Hutto's 0 for 3, struck out back in the 6th. 1, 4, 5. Struggler no, so it's just going to be a ground out. So we'll go 5 to 3 there. 1 down. Here's Darren Room, and I had him out of order there for a moment. All right, Darren Room actually had a good day at the plate today. 2 for 3 with a double and a single. We'll see if he can come through here. 2, 4, 6. Control, Grandstaff has it, so it's just a comebacker right to him. 1 to 3 there. 2 gone. And back to Rockmore. 0 for 2 with a walk. Struck out once again. Back in the 7th. 1, 2, 4. Control, yep, grounder to short. DeJesus throws it over. And we got some free baseball coming here in Buffalo. So Tovar singles. Pastor doubles them in. That ties things up. And we have ourselves a tie game heading into inning number 10. And I need to pick a pitcher. So let's see who we got here that we can use. Let's see. Due up's going to be Barkdoll, DeJesus, and Chronister. All right, so there. All right, we're going to go with Mickey Gosnell. Oh no, real extra innings here, Mike. Real extra innings. We don't play with ghost runners. Mickey Gosnell is going to take the mound for the Bees to start off inning number 10. Gosnell on the season, 8 1/3 innings pitched, 5.40 ERA, 3 walks, and 10 Ks. And leading off for the Minutemen is going to be Joe Barkdoll. He's 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of singles, including one back in the 8th inning. 2, 4, 5. Barkdoll, though, is not a hero. He pops it out to second base. 4 out number 1. And a trip to the experience chart for Don DeJesus, who's a prospect, going up against the neutral, Mickey Gosnell. 24. Icon batter? No. So it's just going to be a grounder to short. Rockmore throws it over. 4 out, number 2. And here's Chronister. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Popped out back in the 8th. 3, 4, 6. Is Chronister eager? He is. So he flies it deep, but not deep enough. Dexter Ford goes under it, and that's out number 3. So we go to the bottom of inning number 10. 1-1 tie between the Minutemen and the Bees. Remember, game 2 of this doubleheader coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on AFR. Hopefully we'll be done with this one by then. Coming into the game for the Minutemen is going to be Hideki Wada. Wada's 1-0 on the season, 1.04 ERA, 27 Ks in 17 and a third innings pitched and only 4 walks. We have Antonelli, Ford, and Shreve due up. Let's see here. Should we try to go for a pinch hitter yet? We'll leave him bat for now. So here's Antonelli, 0 for 3 on the night. 1-1-3. Ace or dynamic, that is a no-go. Slugger, Antonelli's not a slugger, but he's going to get a single, which puts the potential winning run on first base. Here comes Dexter Ford. Ford is 0 for 2, but he walked in the 7th. Two, 3, 5 there. Wada is not wild. The dot says yes for eager, but he is a whiffer though. So he does not get that single. Instead, he gets a strikeout. 1 gone. So Shreve's coming up to the plate. He is the third baseman. 0 for 3 in this one. 1, 3, 6. What is not an ace? Whiffer or cold? The dot says yes for whiffer, so that's another strikeout. 2 gone. Back to the top of the order, and Dave Wedge, the designated hitter. Three, 6, 6. Oh, not a pinch hitter. So it's just a fly out the center. So on to inning number 11 we go. Still tied at 1. So Watt is out of innings. So the Minutemen will have to get somebody else in there. Gosnell can still go. He is semi-fresh. Let's see who we got due up here. We've got Carty, Young, and Keel. We'll keep Gosnell in for now. But I put Ching and Kreider out before. I don't want to do that. We'll put Rohrer in the bullpen in case things get hairy. Okay, Joe McNeil, the rest of the game. All right. So there's Carty, 0 for 4, lined out back in the 8th. 3, 4, 4. Prospect, no. Patient, no. It's going to be a pop out the second, one down. Here's Corbin Young. 0 for 3, 0 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. He popped out in the ninth. 1-1-2. Gosnell is flash. That is a strikeout. And 2 away. Here's Keel. 0 for 4 in the night. Grounded out his last time up. 1-2-2. Gosnell is not a workman. Champ or whiffer. He does get the dot for a whiffer, so there's that dreaded nubbed infield single. And the go-ahead run's on first base. Here's Tovar. 1 for 4. Singled and scored the tying run in the ninth. 1-1-2. But Gosnell has flash. He struck him out. And we go to the bottom of the 11th. And Steve, thanks for coming on. I will join your stream as soon as I am able to. Hopefully, we'll be able to end this thing soon. Okay, I got your note about De Jesus. So, thanks for coming on again. And I will catch you a little later on your stream. So Joe McNeil is going to go in for the Minutemen, here to pitch the bottom of the 11th inning. McNeil 0 for 1 with an 11.12 earned run average, 3 walks, 12 Ks, and 11 1/3 innings. And we got 2, 3, 4 in the order: Clark, Rutherford, and Hutto. So here's Lamont Clark. Scored the only Bees run way back in the first inning. And we got triple fives here. Ace or star, no. Scrapper, no. It's deep. It's back. And it is gone. Game over. Lamont Clark does it again. His second home run of the evening. Second home run of the night. Fourth home run of the season. And the Bees win a thriller once again in 11 innings by the final of 2-1. And what a classic to show on the channel tonight. Wow, what a game. As we go back to the studio here, again, thanks everybody for coming on board here. Pull up the temp box score here just a second here, just to see. So, wow, once again, final line totals in 11 innings. For the Bees, 2 runs on 7 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base. For the Minutemen, 1 run on 6 hits, no errors, 6 men left on base. So the winner is going to be Mickey Gosnell. And Gosnell is, that's going to be his first win of the year. He is 1-0 in that regard. And the loser is going to go to Joe McNeil. And he is 0-2. MVP of the game? Well, that has got to be Lamont Clark. 2 home runs, 1 in the beginning, the other at the end, to give the Bees the win. The Bees improved to 18-18 on the season. New England drops to 15-19. Once again, at the top of the hour on Steve Towers' AFR channel is going to be the second game of this Twilight doubleheader, and it's the Bees and the Minutemen will teleport over to Medfield to play that game over at Biddy Beer Ballpark. Once again, in front of a sold-out crowd at National Airways Stadium, your final in tonight's game, the Buffalo Bees defeat the New England Minutemen in Game 1 of the doubleheader by the score of 2-1. From all of us here at Imagisport, this is Derek Jones saying thanks once again for watching tonight. Have a great rest of your day. And most of all, keep on rolling. We'll see you later.